Hello, so welcome to the next square of the 50 stitches crochet along, and this week we're making the star stitch. So the star stitch makes these lovely pretty stars. It's a double-sided stitch. It's slightly different on one side, it has this ridge on one side than the other, but otherwise it's a double-sided square. So this is the 4-pointed star. There are 5 points and 6-pointed versions as well, and it's also called the Marguerite stitch. And the 4 points, which we're doing now, is also known as the simple Marguerite stitch. Okay. So how do we make it? We're going to start with a chain of 32, and this stitch starts a bit differently to others. So we're using a 3.5mm hook, and in the second chain from your hook, you're going to pop the hook in, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. And then one more, yarn over into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So there should be 8 loops on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through all 8 loops. Then going to chain 1, and that is the start of your star. To finish each star we need row 2. It takes 2 rows to finish each star. Okay, and each one is going to be spread over 4 stitches. So we're going to put a hook into the chain 1 we just did, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over into the stitch where we finished that first star stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then in the next 2 chains going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and that one as well, and then yarn over, pull through all 8 stitches and chain 1. I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit. Here we go. So the 4th stitch we go into is that chain 1 we just completed, yarn over, pull up the loop, and yarn over into the stitch where we finished the last star, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then in the next 2 stitches and we're going to yarn over and pull up loops. By doing the yarn over we're making the stitches nice and puffy, so they're really nice and thick. But you can see the points are starting to come out there. So it really is a pretty stitch. So this is what we're going to do across the chain, and we should have 14 stars in total. And you just yarn over and pull up loops, and then pull through all 8 stitches. So we don't yarn over before going into this chain 1, we just yarn over with the others. And next 2 as well, 1 and 2 and chain 1. Okay, so we just finished the chain 1, hook back into that chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over into the stitch where we finished the last star, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then we go into the next 2 stitches in the chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through all 8 loops on your hook, chain 1, and just repeat that all across the chain until you got 14 stars. One, 2, 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So they're coming up nice and puffy, and you can see those points really starting to stand out a bit now on both sides. One, 2, 3 and 4. Pull through all loops, chain 1. Then back into that chain 1, pull up a loop, into the chain where we finished the last stitch, pull up a loop, and into the next 2 chains, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through all 8 loops on your hook, chain 1. 1, 2, 3 and 4th stitch, yarn over, pull through, chain 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, pull through and chain 1. So yeah, this is going to be our last star. So into the chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over into the stitch where we finished the last star, pull up a loop, yarn over, and into the next 2 stitches, pull up loops, pull through all 8 loops, chain 1, and in that last stitch we're going to make a half double crochet. We have row 1 of the star stitch. So now we need to complete our stars with row 2. So we're going to turn, we're going to chain 1, and in that first stitch we're going to make the alternate turning chain. Why did I just yarn over? Try that again. 1, 2, and as always the turning chain counts as a stitch. Let's pull that tight. Okay, so the rest of the row we're going to making into the eye of our stars, so that chain 1, we're going to make 2 half double crochet into every one of those eyes. And that completes our star. One, 2. So there we go. It completes our stars, and they're now nice and even, points all the way around. So you do that all the way across the row. So we have 14 stars in each row, 2 half double crochet in each of those eyes, and then we've got a half double crochet on each end, so we've got 30 stitches in total. 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So these eyes should be pretty easy to find. They stand out quite well. If they do get hidden, you just kind of, if you give everything a tug, you can see it stand out there. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, and last star, 1 and 2, and then in that turning chain where we started, half double crochet. There we go. Rows 1 and 2 gives us our completed stars. It's such a pretty stitch, isn't it? Okay, so now we're going to move on to row 3. So this stitch is a repeat of rows 2 and 3. So we're going to chain 3. Okay, for once we don't have the alternate turning chain, we have to chain 3. So I'm going to put my stitch marker in the first loop from the hook. Okay, so in the second loop from the hook, you're going to put your hook into the chain and pull up a loop. In the third chain from your hook, hook into the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then yarn over, skip the first stitch and go into the second stitch. And yarn over, pull up a loop, and into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 8 chains on your hook, and pull through, chain 1. And that is the start of your next star. So you have to start in the turning chain. You make it exactly the same as you did for row 1. It's just that you're making the first 2 points into your turning chain. Okay, so you start in the second chain from your hook, then the third chain from your hook, skip the first stitch, those 2 loops in the first stitch, skip those, and then in the second stitch and the third stitch, that's where you complete your star stitch for this row. Okay, so you need to do that stitch for every odd numbered row. Okay, and then we're going to carry on as we did before. So into the eye of the star, pull up a loop, then yarn over into the stitch where the last star finished, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then into the next 2 stitches, yarn over and pull up a loop. Then yarn over and pull through all 8 loops, chain 1, and you're starting your next set of stars. So I go back to the original square. Okay, so you can see I did some colour changes in this one. If you're going to do a colour change, always do it after the row of half double crochet so that your 2 rows are the same. So you want your row of stars and your row of half double crochet above to be the same colour. Otherwise you're going to get a star of 2 halves. So there are 16 rows in total for this stitch. Oops, wrong way. There we go. 16 rows in total, which gives you 8 sets of stars, and you'll end on a half double crochet row. So for the borders, top and bottom is a single crochet in every stitch. For the sides, for rows 1 and 16, you want 1 single crochet in the sides. For For every other row it's 2 single crochet, and then don't forget to add your corners for the turn, and that is all there is to the star stitch. So as always, please do come over to the Facebook group, show us your squares, and if you have any questions please do ask. Always try and help every way I can, and I shall see you next time for the next stitch. So have fun and bye for now.